In the deepest eons of history, before mankind had even emerged from primordial ooze, the Necrontyr dominated the galaxy. But unity receded, even as the bounds of their domain expanded. Fearing the collapse of their civilization, the leaders of the Necrontyr assailed the Old Ones, seeking to wrest from them the secret of eternal life. The galaxy blazed with the fires of war. Too late, the Necrontyr realized the impossibility of victory. Thus they embraced damnation. The Star Gods, the C'tan, walked amongst them, offering prized immortality and long-sought victory. So ended the Necrontyr of old. Betrayed by the ambition of Zarek, the Silent King, they were dragged in chains to the fires of biotransference, transmuted from fragile and radiation-cursed bodies to forms more suited for the ravages of war. Stripped of flesh, of mortality, even of their souls, the Necrontyr passed from history. Only the Necrons remained. Now enslaved to the will of the C'tan, the Necrons at last altered the course of the war. Cosmic battle lines buckled and at last broke beneath a tide of immortal fury. As the last of the Old Ones fell, Zarek led what remained of his people in revolt against their C'tan masters. The Star Gods were overthrown, shattered into shards, and forced to serve those they had once ruled. But centuries of war had taken their toll on both the Necrons and the galaxy. To preserve what remained of their empire, the Necrons retreated to colossal stasis tombs, to sleep away millennia while their domain healed and their rivals passed into dust. Freed from the shackles of time, the passing millennia meant nothing to them. 60 million years have passed, and the ancient tombs are once more stirring to life. The Necrons, forgotten by all but the Eldari, are returning to claim what was theirs. They will abide no trespassers. With the awakening of their Phaeron Kephrekh the Unbroken, the Neferu dynasty arises once more. Undying legions stir in the forgotten dirt of 100 worlds. The reconquest of the galaxy has begun.
Oh, Markham, let the legions rise. Oh, Markham, unleash the power of the Neferu. Oh, Markham, our worlds are infested. Scour them clean. This is my hour. The time has come for the might of the Neferu to be felt once again, my servant. Our ancient domain is infested with primitives. You are to scour them from my sight.
As you command, so shall it be, Great One.
The Adeptus Mechanicus fleet is drawing close to the northern pole. They are close to discovering our tombs.
Are we detected?
No. Their sensors are focused on the surface.
Excellent. Engage silent running. Let them remain blind until it is too late.
An asteroid of considerable mass is on a collision vector. If it strikes one of our vessels, the damage will be considerable.
Understood.
We are under attack. Postulate theory. Necron ambush. Acknowledged. Assistance required. Confirmed. Reinforcements dispatched. Arrival imminent.
vanquished the servants of the false machine, Great One.
Excellent. You were ever the swiftest arrow in my quiver. You will have ample chance to prove it. The formless horror quickens, stirring its mortal servants to conquest. And the servants of the false machine will surely return once their comrade's fate is known.
All shall fall before your splendor.
As is only proper, so that you may prepare for the coming challenges. I will order new vassals awaken to serve beneath your yoke.
You honor me, Great One.
As I anticipated, the servants of the formless horror trespass my domain.
They shall be punished, Great One.
Indeed they shall. Go. Scatter them across the sea of stars. Show them that the Neferu command greater power than they can imagine.
As you command, Great One.
10,000 years have passed since the galaxy burned in the fires of the Horus heresy. 10 millennia since the greatest of the Emperor's Primarchs fell into the grasp of eternal damnation and tore the galaxy asunder. Horus Lupercal may be dead, his body ashes, and his memory the stuff of a cursed legend. But the wounds he wrought yet gape in the hide of an embattled Imperium. For the battle against chaos knows no end. Many of Horus' servants survived the civil wars, and they have not forgotten their defeat. When the War Master fell, they retreated to the Eye of Terror and waged battle anew. Greatest of these was Abaddon the Despoiler, Horus' greatest living heir. Abaddon took the title of War Master for his own, and embarked upon a long and bloody campaign to succeed where his fallen master had failed. 12 Black Crusades he launched against the Imperium of Man. 12 world-shattering campaigns to forever alter the balance of power. Now, as the millennium draws to a close, a vast armada of traitors slips its moorings as Abaddon launches his 13th and perhaps final strike. As the tide of chaos breaks against the Cadian Gate, the Imperium holds its breath. Faith alone cannot hold back these bleak waters. Only valor will serve.
Structural damage outpacing repair. The intruders are dust, Great One.
Excellent. You exceed my expectations. You have delivered the lessons in respect and caution this day.
And if those lessons are not taken to heart,
all who oppose my will shall perish. Indeed, the recent awakenings have drawn mankind's restless eye. The servants of the formless horror will not be far behind.
we shall be ready.
Indeed. I cede command of a new fleet to aid your purpose. The boundaries of this sector chafe at me. Is it proper that an eminence such as mine be thus confined?
It is not, Great One.
Then we are of one mind. Reclaim the neighboring Dolmen Gate, so that distant worlds might come to know my greatness.
It shall be as you command.
Tread carefully, Nemesis. So forthright a move is likely to draw the gaze of the Aldari.
Do you question our Phaeron's command?
I merely counsel caution. Arrogance is a poor shield.
I cannot defy the Great One. His will is supreme.
As you wish, Nemesis. As you wish.
Chinchar is the mineral heart of the Segmentum Obscurus, feeding the manufactorums of Agrippina and a dozen other sectors. There are few truly colonized planets in this sector, as worlds rich in mineral resource tend towards the inhospitable. The citizens of Chinchar are likely to be slaves or penal workers, living out miserable lives in arid mines or aboard freighters. But for some renegades, there are other options. Resnor, the last resting place of vessels whose fury once shuddered the stars. A world rich in resource for those in need, and fraught with peril besides, for it is not only sunlight that caresses the planet's surface, but the toxic emissions from 1,000 reactors still trapped in decaying orbit.
My ascension proceeds apace. You have done well.
I do but serve as your vessel, Great One. Yet, I have some concern that reawakening the Dolmen Gate will have drawn the gaze of the Eldari.
If the Eldari are alerted to our presence, it is due to your actions, not my commands.
Of course, Great One. I did not mean to imply otherwise.
Deathless abhorrence. We know your intent. We know your purpose. We will find you, and your curse shall be lifted from this region.
Greetings, esteemed foe. Rejoice, for we shall meet you in battle as protocol demands.
And you shall be scattered across the stars for your presumption.
I bring dire tidings, Nemesis. Our outposts register Eldari fleets in increasing number.
Do tell, Tsar. I would never have guessed without your bountiful insight. The Eldari are indeed roused, as you predicted. The Phaeron will hold me accountable for this.
Unless you put an end to the incursions before he orders you to do so. Victory forgives all transgressions.
Indeed. But it is Kephrekh's forgiveness that concerns me most.
The region of space now known as the Eye of Terror was once home to the Eldari Empire. A prideful, sensuous people, the Eldari realized too late the perils of excess. The fourth Chaos God, Slaanesh, was born from their debauchery, its coming heralded by a psychic scream that shook real space to its foundations and devastated the Eldari. The Crone Worlds are all that remain of the Eldari's fallen domain. They are blighted planets, consumed by the spreading unreality of the Eye of Terror, and twisted to new and nightmarish realities. Though the Crone Worlds are overrun by the servants of the Dark Gods, the Eldari have not entirely abandoned them. They cannot, for only here can the treasured Spirit Stones be harvested, and thus the souls of the dying be saved from thirsting Slaanesh. Such expeditions are fraught with peril, for there are few more dangerous places amongst the stars. Many who seek the Crone Worlds do not return. The Eldari have never recovered from the horrors of the Fall. They are a fractured, dwindling population on the brink of extinction. Most dwell aboard star-treading craft worlds, honing their peerless minds along the disciplined paths in the hope of staving off the perils of decadence and thus preventing a second, final catastrophe. But not all Eldari can bear the rigidity of craft world life. Some depart their homes, seeking adventure amongst the stars as corsairs. Such lives are fraught with danger, but are also rich with excitement. These outcasts can be found in every corner of the galaxy, blazing a brief but exhilarating trail before madness claims them. The Drakari, too, live outside the structures of the Eldari path. Corrupt and cruel, they keep Slaanesh at bay, not with discipline and spirit stones, but by feasting on the torment of others. Raiders and slavers all, the Drakari are a blight upon the galaxy, as selfish as they are sadistic, as untrustworthy as they are cunning. But in recent days, the barriers between the Eldari factions have begun to crumble, with ever more gathering beneath the banner of one named Ivrain. These Inari keep their beliefs hidden as their intentions. Should they be encountered on the battlefield, caution will serve you well.
Energy to recoalesce us!
To my notice that you have repelled an Eldari incursion without instruction.
I thought it best, Great One. I did not wish to trouble you with such matters.
I see. Have a care that your initiative does not become a spur to excessive pride.
Naturally not, Great One.
And yet, you have served me well. Thus, I grant you a further decree of plenty. Use it well.
Of course, Great One.
Today, you are rewarded. But what of tomorrow?
With the Eldari intrusion so masterfully contained, I would have you turn your eye to different horizons.
With the greatest respect, Great One. It is only a matter of time before the Eldari return.
I will not have my wisdom questioned by a groveling cryptek. You will remain silent.
I stand ready to obey your will, Great One.
Have you heard of the vagabond Trazyn?
I know he is a thief, unworthy of your mention.
Indeed. But this day the thief has uncovered something of great value to the Neferu. We must meet his price in trade. Trazyn is a collector. You will acquire for him a sought-after specimen. Segle Khan of the human warriors designated the White Scars. Do not fail me.
Eldari raids are growing in frequency and irritation. I recommend broadening our logistical base.
What do you suggest?
There is a dormant anchorage with an acceptable voyaging range. It once belonged to the Terenot dynasty, but we could restore it, press it to our purposes.
I concur, Tsar. Relay the information to the sands of time.
The Skelos subsector is located to the galactic west of the Eye of Terror. Its capital planet, Skelos, is a feral world and was once the homeworld of the Sons of Malice. Once loyal space marines, they turned on the Imperium in the years leading to the 13th Black Crusade. The original name of the Sons of Malice has been lost to Imperial record, but it is speculated that they were one of the 20 chapters of the Astartes Precis, a founding created with the express purpose of safeguarding the region surrounding the Eye of Terror. The cold and unforgiving wastes of Skelos provide the Sons of Malice no shortage of barbaric recruits. Indeed, the Sons' foul religious practices trace their origins to those of the tribesmen from which they sprang. A scouring, conducted by the Cadian 331st, was thought to have ended these grisly traditions. Certainly the natives were thought exterminated, and the Sons of Malice driven off. But rumors have surfaced suggesting that the world is not so empty as was believed. It would seem that the Sons of Malice still stake a claim to this miserable planet. They will surely do whatever they must to make it theirs once more.
This outpost allows us to project our power across a number of vital systems, though it may prove difficult to hold if threatened.
One day, Tsar, you will deliver good tidings without the bad clattering close behind.
The Imperium of Man. A galaxy-spanning empire in decline. Once, humanity stood on the brink of taming the stars. A golden age of light and glory beckoned. But men have ever been prone to temptation and lured to stubborn pride. Now the Space Marines, intended as the vanguard of mankind's ascension, fight ceaselessly to prevent their father's work sliding into ruin. The Adeptus Mechanicus, custodians of wondrous technology, take to the stars in hope of unearthing lost secrets from the very darkest of ages, and to impose the Omnissiah's will upon a scattered galaxy. But nowhere is the Imperium's might more plainly seen than in the vessels of its star-spanning navy. As war rages, colossal warships slip anchor to smite the foe with the righteous fury of the faithful. Such vessels are both Imperium's stalwart shield and gleaming spear, shining in the impenetrable dark of space. It takes more than a man to command such a warship. It takes a hero, strong in will and unflinching of purpose. Without such heroes, the Emperor's light would surely wane. Admiral Spire is one such hero, forged in the hallways of the vaunted Schola Progenium, tempered in the cursed days of Abaddon's 12th Black Crusade. Long has he been lost, but now, freed from the Immaterium's clutches, he returns to shed his blood in the Emperor's cause once more. Any who seek to sweep mankind from the stars must first reckon with Spire. Many have sought his head. All have failed. But one hero alone may not be enough to change the Imperium's fortunes. It will take thousands, even millions, for mankind to reclaim its footing in the Eye of Terror's gaping maw. And millions more to hold it. Such a task will not be easy. Cadia is demon-hunted rubble, and the Imperium itself is scarred, torn in two by the Cicatrix Maledictum. But it is the nature of heroes to triumph in adversity, and of faith to flourish in the dark.
Honored foe, we come in need, not out of desire for bloodshed. Surrender yourself, and your followers will be spared.
Necrons, here. By the pyres of Kumkarta, you'll have nothing from me.
Incorrect. A pity he is so selfish.
The unascended are often so, Nemesis. This region is thick with wreckage. It will distort signals. It may be that we cannot trust our sensors.
Understood. We will proceed with caution. Boarding successful.
Segley Khan has been seized and transposed to a Tesseract labyrinth.
Excellent. Alas, it would appear that his warriors desire to fight on.
Hardly unexpected, Nemesis. Pride is a spur to foolishness. I recommend you protect the capture ship. It would be a shame to lose Dresden's prize.
assembling coherence. Is the specimen secure?
Sealed deep with a tesseract labyrinth. Is in pristine condition. Perfect for Trazin's collection.
Good. Kephrekh will be pleased.
Perhaps. Dealing with Trazin is seldom a smooth course.
Orcs. Ever a pestilence. They have too great a foothold already. Steps must be taken.
Do you have a plan?
I do. We will trace the roots back to their source and scour them from the stars.
A sound plan. Balancing guile and overwhelming force in the proper proportions.
Orcs are amongst the deadliest of the Xenos races. Multitudinous, belligerent, and possessed of brutal cunning, they spread across the stars like a green tide. Even in the war-riven sectors around the Eye of Terror, forever beset by chaos, they rank amongst the greatest threats. As battle raged between the Imperium and the dread forces of chaos, the Orcs gained a foothold upon ravaged worlds, using them as staging areas from which they could slingshot deeper into Imperial territory. Orc technology is ramshackle, but terrifyingly effective, combining mismatched components, scavenged gear, and intuitive leaps to forge weapon systems whose inner workings baffle the most experienced of the Imperium's adepts, but lack for nothing in sheer, unbridled firepower. In much the same way, an Orc warlord can take a multitude of squabbling clans and forge them into an unstoppable army. Such a war has the sheer, unbridled might necessary to conquer the stars themselves, leaving naught but rubble in its wake. As its momentum grows, so do its numbers grow, swollen by green skins drawn to the promise of bloodlust, teeth, and loot.
Tsar, have you discovered the root's origin?
Work proceeds. I expect a resolution in due course.
And what is due course?
Excellence. We have an origin system for the Orc menace. I regret that the brutes are present in large numbers.
They will fall before our might, as does all organic life.
With warp storms rendering astropathic communications erratic, Segmentum Obscura's High Command continued experiencing difficulty coordinating its forces. Imperial commanders were advised that communications received from distant sources were not to be trusted. Scattered reports indicated that, in addition to chaos incursions, Scarus nurtured an increasing greenskin menace. Eventually, High Command took this threat seriously. They acted too late. What would become known as the Green Crusade had grown from a few scattered and disorganized tribes to a mighty war that threatened to overwhelm the Imperium's embattled holdings. With the capture of Forge World Mordax Prime, the Green Crusade's momentum redoubled. Survivors from the rechristened Mordaka Prime report seeing hundreds of Gargants being fashioned from the debris, and skies thick with the choking black smoke of Orc cruisers. It can only be a matter of time before other worlds share Mordax's fate.
My mind-shackled spies report the Orcs are gathering around some kind of primitive battle cry. A wah, I believe they call it. Like a Phaeron's address, but without wit or elegance.
I see no reason to be troubled by such primitives.
You will when they gather in number, Great One. I understand that once a wah gets underway, it is unstoppable. Best to end it now.
Now looky what we has here. Shiny tin skull ships come looking for the boss's fishes. Don't matter, we'll have them too! Plenty of teeth for a tin-skull shooter! Plenty more for engines and cabins!
I suspect there is little point in attempting parley with your sort. What would your forebears think of what their race has become?
I hear a lot of jawing, but no shooting. Gonna crump you good, tin skull.
Charming to the last. All vessels, prepare to engage.
Have a care to evade the void whales. The beasts are not aggressive, but a collision would have consequences.
That much had occurred to me, Tsar.
Shooting the fishes, tin skull? You know what must be rattling around that rusty head of yours.
Be assured, we have firepower to spare.
Energy to recoalescence.
Think you're winning? You just killed the puny lads. Then what's left are the strongest, or my name ain't Captain Rasdom.
We shall see.
Shroud strike successful.
A resounding victory. Excellence.
Indeed. But this is merely a first step. The Orcs will continue to be a threat while their war boss endures.
It has always been so. We must track the beast to his lair. Mordax Prime, such as what remains of it, is under our control.
And the war boss?
Absent. I have contracted death marks to seek him out.
Unnecessary. He will return. Our presence in his former lair will prove an undeniable challenge.
Hey! You tin skulls got some front coming here!
Rage all you wish, brute. I am not.
I'm gonna crush you to scrap, and pound what's left till it's no use to no one but a grots!
By all means try. We are ready for you.
Here at last, tin skulls! And just when I wanted something to store that meat from the fishes, your eggs will do!
Such enthusiasm for battle. It can only be because you lack the wit to understand consequence.
See how the mighty Firestarter fights his battles by getting his cruiser all shot up! Right, don't if you get. You gonna fall in or what?
Perhaps we should leave them to finish each other off.
Alas, Orcs seldom quarrel to the death if an outsider is yet present. We shall have to slaughter them all.
Shroud strike complete. Critical damage levied.
Hey, Growler! Get yourself over here! I'm coming! Quit your belly aching! Alright, lads! Time to show them tin scales who's the strongest! Oi, Gospitter! Why ain't you ready in the fight? What? And let you snatch all the loot? This wasn't the plan! Was my plan? Oi, watch your fire, lousy grot! Don't wanna get it? Then stay out of my way! That's enough out of you! I'm gonna crush you once and for all! Yeah? You and what army? This one! Lads, let's put this grot in his place!
Remarkable. They quarrel in the face of oblivion. No matter. We will destroy them both.
As you command.
Reassembling coherence. Structural damage outpacing repair. We have lost a vessel.
Oh, the greenskin threat that was masterfully disposed of, if I may say so. Such vigorous fellows. But even vigor fades when faced with eternity.
A satisfactory outcome. Leaderless, the orcs will be no threat for some time to come.
Perhaps I should set loose the flayed ones, just to be entirely certain.
An admiral's suggestions are, see that it is done.
The fortress Oubliette of Nemesis Tessera was once the Inquisition's most closely guarded secret. A bastion of knowledge and rigor, and a convocation point for the Imperium's most trusted servants. No more. The onset of the 13th Black Crusade set the world awash with treachery and war. Though Nemesis Tessera's dread secrets were stolen, the world itself endured, thanks to the heroism of the Space Wolves and Inquisitor Zero. From the doomed hive world of Chimalomus to the seditious penal world of Avara's Gulag, the sector remains crippled by corruption and heresy. Yet in the forsaken fields of the Obsidian Depths, mutation, madness, and all their damned siblings are curiously absent. It is as if the Obsidian Depths border onto something not yet adequately defined, or perhaps waiting to be discovered.
So, Kephrekh, my thanks for the amusing trifle. I know just the gallery in which to place him.
I have upheld my end of the bargain. It is now for you to uphold yours. Where is my Trionic Activator?
I do not have it.
Charlatan! You have betrayed the divine will of Kephrekh the Unbroken, Phaeron of Neferu. I shall see you disintegrated for this.
Don't be tedious, Kephrekh. I don't have it, but I do know where it can be found. I never promised to place the thing in your hand. It is aboard the human vessel designate Phalanx. I recently had the opportunity to have a look around. You need only reclaim it.
Very well. But you shall remain here as my guest. I would not want there to be any misunderstandings.
Your guest? Well, I can hardly refuse. Not with all these guards. I mean, servants so close to hand.
Never saw a Marken. I leave it to you to reclaim the Trionic Activator. Take Trazyn with you. If the Activator is not present on Phalanx, destroy him. If it is, destroy the human vessel once it has been acquired.
Of course, Great One. This device, what function does it serve?
It is to be the cornerstone of my glorious triumph. More than that, you do not need to know.
This is a suicide mission. The Phalanx is no defenseless scow.
We will find a way. Otherwise, if the Phalanx does not kill us, Kephrekh surely will. Your fate hangs on our retrieval of the Trionic Activator.
I think I'm insulted. Of course it's there. Buried away in a relic chamber. Overlooked and unloved.
Deplorably, the Phalanx shields are strong. It will take an age to breach them, even with our strongest weaponry.
I concur. Prepare the invasion cohorts. We will take the fight to the Phalanx's depths. The thickest hide is no defense when the strike falls from within.
It would appear the Phalanx has no escort. They must think us fools to fall for so obvious a ploy. Or perhaps solar eruptions are imminent. Do they fear the effects? Naturally, our vessels will suffer no harm from such events.
It is well this is so. The Phalanx will surely not emerge unscathed from the star's embrace. It is a weakness we can exploit.
You have White Scar's blood on your hands, Necron. You owe the Imperium a debt. I thank you for granting me the opportunity to collect on it.
I take no pleasure in my actions against your Imperium. But you are insects, crawling across a galaxy far beyond your comprehension. If you must be crushed for our betterment, then so be it.
Fine words, but any conqueror would say the same.
Indeed, they would. But my fine words are all the solace I have to offer. The will of Kephrekh will not be gainsaid.
Our warriors have breached the Phalanx. Even now they approach the relic chamber.
Your moment of truth approaches, Trazin.
I've received threats from experts. Yours do not measure up.
Our warriors have the Trionic Activator, but there is a complication. The humans have blocked their evacuation route. They seem agitated.
So close and yet so far distant. But I have a suggestion. I have in my possession a tesseract labyrinth containing a tyrannic swarm of quite humorous extent. Were I to let it loose within the Phalanx, your warriors could make their escape. And the vessel would surely be inconvenienced. It might even be destroyed.
Do you think me a fool? You are my guest. Do you suppose I would allow you to cast aside my hospitality with our work undone?
I expect you to send me away, aboard the Phalanx, the next time a solar eruption strips the shields. It's the only way to seize your prize. It's that, or have your head beside mine at the foot of Kephrekh's throne.
Very well. Tsar, begin preparations.
Captain, we have Tyranids aboard. Casualties reported throughout the central structure.
Impossible! No! Muster all forces. Repel the borders.
The main armory is already overrun. 3 bulwark fortresses have already fallen. We may have to abandon ship.
This cannot be. The Phalanx has endured for millennia. It cannot fail now, not under my command.
We just lost another bulwark fortress. We have Tyranid sightings in the primary reactor chamber. What are your orders? Captain? Captain!
The Trionic Activator is in our hands.
Excellent. Instruct the Canoptech servitors to return our vessel to full function.
Traitor! Deceiver! Charlatan!
Great One!
Trazyn has escaped. Return him to me. I will see him dragged through the colonnades behind my Imperial bars for this.
Tsar, does your foresight yield any clue as to where Trazyn can be found?
The skeins part unwillingly, swirled by the machinations of the formless horror. But I have him. An asteroid belt in the Vorak system. The one named Medusa by the humans.
A harsh realm of perpetual gloom that breeds a harsh people. With a dark and polluted sky, Medusa's sun rarely reaches the planet's surface. It is a world of highly unstable geology, with earthquakes and volcanic eruptions constantly reshaping the mountains and seas. The world's resources have long been mined to exhaustion, plundered by the Telstarax, an ancient space station that hangs in orbit to this day. Medusa, then, is a world trapped in the past, marred by old wounds and burdened with pride and fading glory. Yet it remains a powerful symbol, and a weighty prize to he who would claim it.
Nemesaur Amerkan. I trust it would be too much to hope this is merely an escort from the Neferu domain.
You have trespassed upon the trust of His Glorious Majesty Kephrekh the Unbroken. I am to bring you before him.
Ever the loyal servant. And yet, you know nothing of his purpose, do you?
He seeks only the Neferu restored.
He is a selfish old fool. He will use the Dark Throne as a fortress in which to cower. He does not see its broader purpose.
I have heard of the Dark Throne. I thought it lost.
Not lost. Hidden. By Kephrekh. It needed only one piece to begin the process of awakening.
The Trionic Activator.
You see, already you prove yourself a better candidate for ruler. The Activator does more than set the Dark Throne afire. It attunes it to the flow of the Imperium. Its architect designed it to replace the Cadian pylons with something more lasting. It still can, if you are willing to lead in Kephrekh's stead.
What you suggest is the deepest treachery.
Only to those without imagination.
You should consider his words, Nemesaur. We both know that Kephrekh's service leads only to disintegration.
It's no concern of mine. All I ask is that you let me depart.
Go.
You see? You can make a decision if called to it.
It is done, my loyal servant. Where is Trazyn? I have humiliations to repay.
He is destroyed, Great One. He would not be taken intact.
You have failed me this day, Nemesaur. I shall not forget it.
No, Great One.
Return to me. We have much work ahead of us.
Your time is running short, Nemesaur.
I trust you have had time to reflect upon your errors, Nemesaur.
I have, Great One. Should we not use the Dark Throne for its original purpose? To contain the formless horror?
You know. Worse, you question my flawless design. You overreach, Nemesaur. Surrender yourself for judgment.
You no longer have any choice. You must depose Kephrekh, or face disintegration.
I have never sought to rule.
Perhaps that is why you must accept its burden.
Almighty Kephrekh demands you hand yourself over for judgment, Amarkan.
To submit is folly.
I am aware of this, Tsar. Kephrekh leads us all into ruin, Vorek. We must follow another path.
His will must be obeyed. Surrender, or be destroyed.
I will not surrender. I will never surrender.
Energy to recoalescence.
Never saw a Marken. You sink deeper into perfidy with every passing moment. Your death shall last an agonizing eternity.
I regret, Kephrekh, that you can no longer be permitted to lead our dynasty into ruin. By right and responsibility of my station, I assume rule of the Neferu.
Deceiver, betrayer, I now see you have been working against me from the start.
Not so. I have sought only to...
Lies! I shall see you destroyed for this. You and all who follow.
Structural damage outpacing repair.
The majority of the Neferu royal court is prepared to accept your ascension to the Pharaoh's throne. At least, for now.
They will follow me until I fail.
Perhaps not even that long. But success will reinforce your standing.
What of Kephrekh's personal guard?
They care nothing for politics. The Phaeron lives, though he is another being. They are yours to command. I can think of no better way to properly establish your position than by fully awakening the Dark Throne. You should inspect it for yourself.
A sound suggestion.
The Forge World Agrippina itself would have fallen millennia ago, but for its formidable defenses, now bolstered by the Cadian diaspora. Even with Cadia lying in ruins, its scions stand firm beside Agrippina. And it is well that this is so, for the world's technological wonders have proven an irresistible lure to Chaos Warpsmiths. The Agrippina sector is a linchpin in the Cadian Gate's defenses, a laboring manufactorum that feeds nearby worlds with weaponry and much-needed munitions. Wealth abounds within its borders, and it supplies the Astra Militarum with many of its finest regiments.
Hail, a Marken of the Neferu.
Anakale. What would the Temerin dynasty have of me? Our war is not so long in the past that I welcome you.
I invoke the Protocol of Concordia. We require your assistance.
A most unexpected development.
Proceed.
The Temerin core worlds are invaded. We stand upon the brink of destruction. I am authorized to offer fealty in exchange for aid.
A generous offer, or a desperate one.
And this invader of which you speak?
The great Devourer. Those known to others as the Tyranids. We have fleets mustering across this region. Protect them, and they shall be yours to command.
The Tyranids, the great devourer. In all the stars, there has never been a Xenos race more inimical to the survival of mankind. Indeed, they are the bane of all other life. Their origins are but poorly understood, the stuff of rumor and supposition and nightmare. The adepts of Mars believe that a single unknowable consciousness guides the Hive fleets about their voracious purpose. This consciousness knows only unquenchable hunger. Hive ships serve as synapse nodes, spreading the influence of the Tyranid hive mind across the stars. Such is the hive mind's suffocating will that the warp is distorted for light years around. Confusion and terror spread before the hive fleets advance, as dreams darken and madness spreads. As the hive fleets advance, the suffocating embrace quenches the Emperor's light and drowns doomed worlds in psychic shadow. But the greatest threat comes from within. Foul creatures known as gene stealers infiltrate unvigilant worlds. A patriarch arises from the population's subverted flesh and projects a psychic beacon to draw the hive fleet ever closer. As the gene stealer cult grows in power, they emerge from the shadows of their benighted world. Civil war rages, shaking the planet asunder. Then the skies darken with spores and the hive fleet's voracious tendrils. The cultists exult at the fulfillment of prophecy and their ascension into the light. Their delusions die with them. There are many hive fleets, each but a facet of the immeasurable Tyranid threat. Leviathan is the greatest, and has wrought ruin on a scale never before witnessed. Though the great rift arising from Cadia's ruin has severed many of Leviathan's tendrils, many more remain. Even now, one is surging towards the Eye of Terror. Bellis Corona is a vital anchorage, serving as the Imperial Navy's primary base in the Segmentum Obscurus. Over the millennia, its importance has only grown, and it now acts as the Imperium's administrative capital for the entire Segmentum. In the prelude of the 13th Black Crusade, the arch-traitor Typhus descended on Bellis Corona, spreading a devastating contagion named in whispers as the Plague of Unbelief. Despite Typhus' assault and the loss of billions of lives, the sector held firm. But in recent days, Psychers stationed in Bellis Corona have suffered total collapse. Their minds torn asunder by some strange and terrible shadow moving through the Imperium. This can only bode ill.
gratitude for your intervention. The loyalty of the Temerin dynasty is yours.
I imagine so. Do not give me reason to regret my actions.
I will not, Great Lord. I will not.
I expect you to strengthen our positions. Provide us with ships with no delay.
Amarkan commands. Hail, Great Lord. The construction of ships has begun, though our anchorages remain threatened by tyrannids.
I will provide protection. Hasten the construction.
Yes, Great Lord. Hail, Amarkan of the Neferu. You have met our terms, and we now place our vessels at your command.
Excellent. Tsar will inform you of my requirements. Together, we will defeat these invaders.
At your command.
Tsar, we cannot match these Tyranid numbers indefinitely. We need another plan.
It is known that these creatures are controlled by a single all-powerful will. Perhaps that will can be disrupted if we slaughter a large enough vessel.
And you know where to find such a vessel?
Not as yet. I will need to study further. I require the carcasses of several more hive ships.
You shall have them.
My analysis is almost complete. I anticipate actionable results very soon.
So you have said for some time.
Excellence, if you believe I have misled you.
You would be dust already.
Excellence, I have divined the location of the Tyranid nodal beast. This ancient one should be eliminated with haste.
At last. Transfer the coordinates to my tomb ship. I will lead the assault in person.
Your example brings honor to the Neferu, Excellent. We have arrived at a most opportune moment. The Ancient One is deep in its beating cycle.
A revolting process. Even by the standards of flesh.
Agreed. But you should not waste this moment. Attack without delay before the beast rouses.
It shall be as you say.
Registering a massive of unknown energy.
Continue monitoring.
Reassembling coherence.
What was that? Tsar, speak.
Some form of formless energy wave. Cohesion is dropping across the fleet.
Understood. We must not suffer another onset.
Sending out some kind of signal. It is incomprehensible.
To us, perhaps. Its own kind are another matter.
I concur. This is most likely a call for aid.
distress call has been answered.
I suspect this will only be the beginning. You must make haste before we are overwhelmed.
The fiend grows inevitable. Enemy vessels suffered critical damage. Shroud strike complete. Critical damage levied. Shroud strike successful. Structural damage outpacing repair.
More bio-vessels have answered the Ancient One's call.
They come too late. Our victory is all but guaranteed.
Vessel lost. Adapt protocols to compensate. Enemy vessels suffered critical damage. Reassembling coherence. Energy to recoalescence. Shroud strike successful.
The Ancient One is no more. This is a great victory.
Indeed. With its nodal beast destroyed, the endless hunger's bioforms will pose little threat. At least until another takes the Ancient One's place.
And we shall ensure that does not happen for many decades yet.
Send word to the Bone Kingdom of Drazak. Offer that wretch, Phaeron Valgal, license for his flayed ones to hunt the few remaining Tyranids within our domain. That should keep his adult Necrons under control, and the Tyranid numbers suppressed.
As you command.
I see great things ahead for you, Majesty. All now know your name. Fear and respect are both yours.
As expected, the death of the Ancient One has greatly disrupted the Tyranid consciousness. Already the beasts lose ground.
The remaining fleets shall be purged. All trace shall be scoured from our domain. So this is the Dark Throne. The wonders of Lost Age restored.
Or nearly so. The process of reawakening is long and arduous. It must be protected from the Eldari until capable of defending itself.
How do the Eldari know of its existence?
I have no proof they do, as yet. But it is never wise to underestimate the Eldari. Their memories are long, and their pride easily tarnished.
We shall not wait for them. Such was Kephrekh's manner of war. We must locate their main webway gate. How proceeds the war?
We have acquired sufficient intelligence to begin identifying the webway gate's location. Also, your recent victories have solidified your position within the royal court. Your would-be challengers are now eager to support your rule. Great One, we have located the Eldari webway gate.
Excellent. I hereby issue a decree of war. We will take the fight to our ancient foe.
At once, Great One.
Cease your approach, soulless one. We know of your intention, and it will not be tolerated.
Esteemed foe, we seek no reprise of ancient war. Our labors will benefit all.
There is no truth in your kind, and never has been. You will not pass.
I regret that we shall. I am burdened by purpose. If you will not stand aside, You will be annihilated.
Then come. Face our cannons.
Great One. There can be no assault on the Webway Gate until the Eldari fleet is destroyed.
I am well aware of this, Tsar. See how I stretch out my hand to brush them aside.
Have a care that you do not entangle your fingers in the plasmic Medusae, Great One. They are volatile beasts, and I fear you will lose much in the explosion.
I shall take care. We shall destroy the Medusae from a distance. Does that ease your troubled mind, Tsar?
Indeed. And more so if you hold fire until Eldari vessels lie within the blast radius. After all, it would be a shame for the Medusae to die in vain.
Shroud strike complete. Critical damage levied. We have lost a vessel. Reassembling coherence.
Great One, the Eldari fleet is no more. You may commence destruction of the Webway Gate as soon as you see fit.
Why, thank you, Tsar. Your consent is so very vital. Do I detect some small reserve?
Only that it would be a shame not to take the opportunity for study. Who knows what I might learn?
Very well. You shall have your chance. But do not tarry. Should more Eldari arrive, I will have no hesitation in destroying both the gate and you.
Naturally, Great One. So ends our immediate problems with the Eldari, and with your remaining dissenters within the royal court.
Good. We cannot afford the distraction.
It is my pleasure to inform you that our destruction of the Webway Gate has yielded both disappointment and the possibility of glorious achievement.
Explain.
The Webway Gate's destruction has not slowed the Eldari efforts as much as we might have wished. However, your tireless advisors, of whom I am but the most eminent, believe they can locate the craft world serving as the Eldari staging post.
Order the Tesseract vaults unsealed. For prey of this stature, we require the power of a Catan.
An intriguing prospect, Great One. Do you intend we should set one loose aboard Ostara?
No. We will detonate its energies in the heart of the craft world. The resulting dimensional rift should see Ostara destroyed.
A most excellent and elegant plan, Great One. I shall make the preparations.
Caliban, a world torn asunder by betrayal, and haunted by the treacheries of the ancient past. What remains is shrouded in mystery, and and shielded from the prying eyes of the Inquisition by the Dark Angels who once called this world home. But war has a way of bringing secrets to light. As conflict rages across the sector, who knows what glimmers of truth might flare beneath the light of dying stars. There can be no forgiveness for what you attempt today, Soulless One. Not even should 100 millennia fall away into the past.
Esteemed foe, I regret that your forgiveness matters nothing to me. My dynasty's survival supersedes your own.
Then we shall fall upon you without mercy. Our gathered wrath shall scour you from the heavens.
Your wrath matters to me even less than your forgiveness. Tsar, is Kephrekh's fleet prepared?
So he reports. The Transcendent Catan's shackles are being removed as we speak. The explosion should be memorable.
Great One, we stand ready for your decree. Commence your assault. Have your Night Shrouds employ Death Sphere against the Craft World's infinity cannons.
As you will it, Great One. And the Catan?
Hold the Catan and your command vessel in reserve until the defenses are overwhelmed. We shall not squander its power through hasty action.
As you will it, Great One.
Eldari vessels are moving to engagement range.
Calm yourself, Tsar. One does not undertake the destruction of a people without bloodshed.
Enemy orbital platform silence.
Great One. One of our bombardment vessels is closing with the infinity cannons. I recommend we offer protection so it can complete its mission.
Agreed. Give the order. Those armaments must be silenced.
The first infinity cannon has been destroyed.
Excellent. My design takes shape.
Enemy orbital platform silence.
We have destroyed the second infinity cannon.
Then it is time to deliver our foes into oblivion. Kephrekh, proceed to the assigned position. We will provide cover.
As you will it, Great One.
The main Eldari fleet are making their approach.
Excellent. It will save us the trouble of hunting them down.
Energy to recoalescence.
We are at the target, Great One. We require time to disable the remaining safety constraints.
You shall have the time you need. Tsar, you are certain the Catan has sufficient power?
Indeed, Great One. I have infected it with a tachyon phage. Already the Catan's form decays, the power building exponentially with every moment. If I wished, I could end a star with such might.
The Catan is launched. The end comes.
One fragment of a betrayer finds absolution in oblivion and delivers us to victory. Most excellent.
You've achieved much today, Amacon.
So ends Craftworld Ostara, sunk by the arrogance of its creators. No more distractions. Bring our vessels to readiness, and focus all efforts on completing the Dark Throne's reawakening.
As you command, Great One. With the Eldari tamed, I can begin preparations to translocate the Dark Throne through the Webway.
It is not too vast to be transported thus.
Ordinarily, Excellence, but with unfettered access to the Cadian system, I can deploy a device to enlarge the passageway for a brief voyage, though this will not be without consequence. The method will wreak catastrophe upon the Webway spur.
An acceptable price for alacrity.
I concur, Great One. Great One. You should begin expanding our domain into the Cadian sector.
That region is fiercely contested by humankind. Perhaps it is better to let them destroy one another.
Would that such were true, Great One. But there are several dormant worlds that might be of use to us. And in any case, the region must be cleansed of obstructions.
Very well. I shall give the matter my attention. There are many fragmented dynasties scattered across the sector. Once awoken, their phalanxes will march in furtherance of our great and noble plan.
Indeed, Great One. Overwhelming force is so pleasing.
The Cadian sector is amongst the most vital of the Imperium's defenses, guarding as it does the only known navigable route out of the Eye of Terror. So long as the Cadian Gate holds, the Imperium remains secure. After 10,000 years of defiance, Cadia finally fell during the opening stages of the 13th Black Crusade. Now it is little more than an honored memory, and an example to those who strive in the service of mankind.
A most excellent start, Great One. However, we should expect retaliation soon.
I welcome it. Our legions have been dormant too long.
Our outposts report increased contact with human vessels, Great One.
Insects pricking at the hide of a giant. They cannot harm us now.
Perhaps, Great One. But you should consider making an example of them. Properly wielded, fear is a potent weapon.
There is logic in what you say. Very well. By my will, it shall be done. The tenacity of these humans is to be respected. Though their losses are heavy, still they seek our destruction.
Is this courage, or mere bravado?
Irrelevant. They will kneel, or they will be destroyed. Our forces are growing, even as theirs recede.
A Markan, Phaeron of Neferu. You have risen far since our last encounter.
Trazin, what is it you want?
I am minded to repay a debt. I loathe owing anyone anything.
I see. And what do you offer?
The Imperium's fleet. At a time and location to your advantage. Is that of interest? With the humans eliminated, perhaps you can succeed where they have failed.
That depends upon the price.
No price. As I said, I loathe debts. The humans have a tendency to trust too easily. It shouldn't take much to send them into your waiting jaws. I will contact you again.
What is he up to now, I wonder?
Do you not trust him?
I do not know.
Great One. I am pleased to inform you that the Imperium's Admiral Spire is preparing an assault upon the Dark Throne.
What? How did he learn of its location?
How do you think?
I may have let it slip in an unguarded moment, at a time and location to your advantage. Remember,
You place all our plans at risk. If this goes ill, you will require sanctuary from my retribution.
gratitude, always in such short supply. Don't you have a battle to prepare for?
Great One, Spire's fleet has entered our heartlands. You must take action.
That upstart Trazin. He jeopardizes everything. Why?
Likely he stands to profit regardless of outcome. That is his way. Yet there is still opportunity here if you seize it.
Very well. Deploy the fleet.
Great One, I bring entertaining news. I have defeated the encryption protocols currently favored by the Imperium. A facile task, but amusing all the same.
Are they aware of this?
They are deaf, blind, and riven with stupidity. Witness.
Commodore Cage needs more time to calculate ideal bombardment zones. We'll buy that time by assaulting the defense platforms with as many vessels as can be spared. Captain Solari, I request your support in this matter.
Agreed.
Captain Donatos.
Protect the starboard flank. I'm no stranger to this, Admiral.
I will command the reserve. If there's an opening, I will strike and I will end this.
So unfortunate we can hear their every word.
Indeed, Great One. Shall I give the order to reinforce the defense platforms?
At once. And inform me the moment the tremor cannon is ready to fire.
The enemy brings new vessels to bear, Great One.
Just once, Tsar. I would be glad of good news.
Then I shall provide, Great One. The tremor cannon is ready to fire. Choose your targets wisely. It would bode ill if, in your fury, you caught one of our vessels in the blast.
Energy bleed detected.
I place my forces at your command, Admiral Spire, and I am glad to receive them.
The misguided scholars of Mars. He seeks to win the battle with the aid of fools.
For which we should be grateful, Tsar.
Reassembling coherence.
Bombardment zone calculations complete. Relaying now.
This is Admiral Spire to attack fleet. Prioritize destruction of the tremor cannon, or this assault will be a martyr's cause, not a victory.
Tsar.
I have identified their intended targets, Great One. We cannot let their vessels get into position. Any that do must be destroyed before firing commences. The Dark Throne is resilient, but it is not indestructible. Neutralized.
Our other weapons must serve us now. Drive them back.
The Dark Throne has suffered severe damage. Canoptic spiders cannot keep pace.
Unacceptable. Instruct all vessels to redouble their efforts. longer.
Lost in the void. What remains of his fleet is...
It appears Trazin's gamble has paid off for us, and for him. Cancel the Deathmark contracts. The Master of Solemnace shall outlive this day.
At once, Great One.
Another great victory for the Neferu. You are to be congratulated, Great One.
I am not deceived. We have done only as you wished, not what we would have wished for ourselves.
No matter where I go, I never lack for suspicious minds to accompany me.
I wonder why that could be.
You wound me, Kephrekh, and after I donated so generously to your cause.
It would appear Spire was not our only threat. The newly returned Primarch Rabute Gilliman has seized command of the Imperium's defenders.
This was not unexpected. Where are his forces gathering?
Belial 4, Great One.
Amidst the ruins of the Eldari Empire. How fitting. One great defeat begets another.
What glories Belial 4 once knew are long behind it, destroyed a millennia ago by the onset of chaos. Yet it remains almost holy ground for the alien Eldari, who once counted this now barren waste as a jewel within their star-spanning empire.
I have the Imperial communications compromised for your pleasure, Great One.
Good, Tsar. Let me hear.
Necron vessels inbound. We are moving to support. Defend the station at all costs. The Lord Primarch has promised aid, but there is no guarantee when he will arrive.
Primarch, Tsar?
Their leader, Great One. Like them, but taller, I understand. Not to be underestimated. New communication signals. Primitive, even by human standards.
I will hear it.
Never thought I'd serve as herald to an ultramarine. But these are strange times. Be of cheer, sons of Ultramar, for Engir Crocodoom has come. My doom-laden fist shall have to serve until the Lord Primarch arrives.
Not given to punctuality, this Lord Primarch.
A failing of the flesh, Great One. Communications indicate that the Lord Primarch has finally arrived.
Hail, warriors of the Imperium! Stand firm in adversity, for Rabute Gilliman stands with you this day. Steel yourselves for battle, and we shall drive the invaders from this world.
The Iron Hands will never yield. Their flesh is weak.
Now, this one has promise. Perhaps we should leave him for last.
Great One.
A passing fancy, Tsar. Let them perish in order most appropriate. So long as they perish. recoalescence. Reassembling coherence. Energy to recoalescence. As it should be.
As all shall be. Great.
And the humans. Such potential. For many things. Though they cannot be said to be truly ornamental, I have gathered one or two rarities from amongst their ranks. For posterity, you understand.
Gilliman's defeat has crippled the Imperium's ability to make war in this region. I estimate it will be many decades before they can re-establish a formidable presence.
Excellent. They will no longer interfere with our plans. By the time the Imperium is ready to reclaim this region, it will be fortified beyond their ability to retake it.
Great One, the Dark Throne brims with power. It will soon be ready, but there is a complication.
What are your bad tidings, Tsar?
There are troublesome influences at work in the webway. Agents of the formless horror, the Thousand Suns, are working to end our control of its passageways.
Then we must give these meddlers other challenges of greater concern.
Indeed, Great One. I suggest a direct assault on their homeworld, Sortiarius. That is sure to be distracting.
The Eidolon sector lies at the heart of the Eye of Terror, at the point where reality bleeds away into the formless tides of the Immaterium. Stronghold of the Despoiler, headwater of every Black Crusade, there is no mortal law here that is not imposed by cruelty, and no physical law beyond the whim of the Dark Gods. The Plague Planet, home of Mortarion and his Death Guard traitor legion. This is a world of 10,000 contagions, where skies weep with pus and seas teem with disease. Sortiarius is the current homeworld of the Thousand Suns traitor legion. Ringed by the screaming souls of the betrayed dead and blasted by the tides of the warp. It is a planet no sane man would tread without cause, or at least without a numberless army at his back. Oliensis, throne of decadence, and bane of many a righteous soul. The world is a living perversion, a deathless monument to the pursuit of pleasure above all else. Though the world's origins are argued over by the adepts of terror, it is known that at least one Space Marine chapter met its demise on the Oliensis surface. Reports suggest that those who fall to Oliensis' embrace are reborn as blasphemous mirrors of their prior selves, shackled to the will of Slaanesh. Drakasi, Khorne's slaughter pit. Only the strongest survive the crucible of its arenas, and then only until the favor of the gods turns against them once more. Eidolon itself was once an Eldari world, but now lies shackled by the madness of chaos, with an empire dedicated to each of the chaos powers constantly vying with the others for dominance. It is said that there are more ways to die on Eidolon than anywhere else. Though as no one ever returns, this can be considered little more than rumor.
Excellent news, Great One. Sortiarius lies within our grasp. Its resources are ours for the taking.
We shall see if the Thousand Suns consider their home of greater import than their holdings in the Webway. Order the fleet to stand in readiness.
As you command, Great One. Strange. The Thousand Suns have responded to our provocation, and yet they have not.
Explain.
They have moved several vessels into position, and yet nothing. It is almost as if they were waiting for something.
Then likely they are. We will destroy them all before their plans come to fruition. Such is my decree.
100 years of study disrupted by the impertinence of ghosts. You shall pay dearly for this.
By all means seek your toll. But I fear you lack the resolve to do so.
Foolish automaton. Your existence thus far has been mere annoyance. Now you have forced us to take notice. Your dynasty shall not long survive this day.
We shall see.
Events play into your hands, Great One. You sought a lasting solution to the Thousand Suns. By attacking in such force, they present one.
Indeed. We shall break them apart. Let their remains stand as a lesson to all who would defy the Neferu.
You cannot afford to allow their vessels to escape, or this will all be for nothing. There is heavy electromagnetic activity in this region. If a radiation wave strikes our vessels, we will suffer for it.
Then we shall ensure that does not happen.
Enemy orbital platform silenced. Inferior vessel sighted. Reassembling coherence.
Where are your threats now? Has your courage failed you as surely as your warriors?
Fool! This is but the vanguard. The test. Your doom beckons.
Reassembling coherence. Energy to recoalescence.
This hour is yours, but there will be other battles. I will see you ground to dust.
That is the threat of a coward on the verge of flight.
That cannot be permitted.
What have we here? The mighty Yukani, fleeing like a chastened child. I was overmatched. I serve no purpose by throwing my life away. I do not serve Magnus with a wasteful death. Fortunate then that your ship bears no scratch. You would not return to the Cyclops without a scar to prove your bravery, would you? Target and fire. Phaeron Kephrekh, you spoke to Yukani of a toll to be paid. I am here to collect.
Lost. Victory probability slipping. Reassembling coherence. Maintain fire. War Master, I offer clemency in exchange for fealty. What is your answer?
The void take you. This ship has brought ruin to 10,000 worlds. It shall not fall to your kind. I shall not fall to your kind.
The expected answer. Very well. Tsar, we will bring this to its appointed conclusion.
No, this cannot be.
Our foe's strategy worked in our favor.
Indeed. The War Master Abaddon is no longer a threat, and his loss weakens the Formless Horror's grasp on the Cadian system.
I am ready to proceed, Great One. Though I predict further assault from the servants of the Formless Horror before long.
It will avail them naught. By my decree, all available resource is channeled to restoring our warships. Continue your work.
As you command. However, my concern is that the enemy will prevent me from deploying the translocation node. I cannot serve your purpose if I am destroyed.
Can you not achieve this from aboard the sands of time?
Alas, no. This vessel's myriad systems would only interfere. I must ask that you serve as a shield for your most loyal servant.
It shall be so. See that you do not fail, Cadia. At last. Tsar, are you prepared?
All is in readiness, Great One. Wait. We are not alone.
Be rejoicing, for I bring thee greetings from Grandfather Nurgle. Fret not about thy lack of flesh, for I have agues to rust and rot all forms.
A slow death to the interloper. His vessels bar our passage. I must reach the target coordinates, or this is all for nothing.
Stay back, good servant. Your path shall be cleared of this detritus. Energy to recoalescence!
Great One, I can wait no longer. I have peered into the abyss of fate and seen this moment before. Something comes. Something terrible.
Very well. Go. I shall protect you. Reassembling coherence.
Translocation will take some time to prepare.
We will be your shield. Do not fail me, Tsar.
At your command, Great One. Great One, the preparations are complete. You only need to give the word.
It is given. Let a new era for the Nephilim begin. By the Silent King, it is here.
Translocation complete, Great One. I have teleported inside and am making inspection of the Dark Throne systems. And yet...
Speak, Tsar.
It is here. The terror I saw has come.
So you are the one who laid low the Despoiler. I should thank you for ushering in my hour.
A Blackstone fortress. Tell me, do you truly know the origin of your bastion? Its full capabilities?
It is Abaddon's gift to a valued ally. And it possesses all the firepower I need to avenge his death. I need know nothing more.
Like all humankind, you see a pool and think it the ocean. This system, this quadrant of the galaxy is now mine. I offer you one chance to depart.
You are not the first to underestimate me, machine. It is a mistake no one long survives.
I know this weapon of old, Great One. It possesses the power to destroy even the Dark Throne, if left unchecked.
Then we shall take it from this horrible Blackheart in the same moment we relieve him of his petty life.
I beg you not to take this battle lightly. He is more dangerous than he appears.
I take no battle lightly, Tsar.
Caltech swarms have breached the enemy vessel. Internal damage registered. Boarding successful. Flayed ones are feasting. Caltech swarms have breached the enemy vessel. Internal damage registered. Boarding successful. Flayed ones are feasting.
It is done. Blackheart's fleet is no more. His fortress is reduced to rubble.
The spread of the wolves is already slowing. The Dark Throne will repair the rift, and you, Great One, shall rule this corner of the galaxy.
As it should be, Tsar. The Nephilim shall rule supreme.
You prove yourself quite the ruler, Abakan. You understand what Abaddon and Kephrekh did not. That madness and vainglory lose more crowns than they win. Have a care you don't forget this lesson. The Eldari are humbled, at least for now. For a dying race, they are rather resilient. If only they learn their place. One Phaeron falls, another rises, as it should be. All that remains is to give the order and claim your destiny.
Activate the throne.